Hello, let's discuss on the ex-situ conservation. What is ex-situ conservation? Ex-situ conservation refers to the conservation of wildlife outside its natural habitat. So some of the example of ex-situ conservation are botanical gardens, zoological parks, even the gene banks, cryopreservation or home gardens. So these are some of the examples of ex-situ conservation. Now let's discuss on these types of ex-situ conservation. The first one is, let's discuss on gene banks. A gene banks is an organization where the genetic informations of the living organisms are stored for future use. Now this gene bank includes preservation of seeds, ovules, or even the pollen grain, etc. of the plant species. Now the second is the cryopreservation. What do you mean by cryopreservation? Cryopreservation refers to the in vitro preservation of the tissues, organs, etc. At a temperature around minus 19.6 degrees Celsius. So when we say in vitro, we are talking about preservation of preservation of the biological resources in the laboratory. In vitro means inside the laboratory. So in this cryopreservation, the biological resources are preserved in the laboratory at a temperature around minus 19.6 degrees Celsius. Now what is the importance of this minus 19.6 degrees Celsius is that at this low temperature the biological resources can be maintained for indefinite period of time without being damaged or wasted. Now this cryopreservation is carried out in two ways. The first way is by rapid cooling of the seeds, and the second is by gradual cooling with dehydrations of plant parts like tissues and even the embryos, etc. So this is all about cryopreservation. Now the third is the botanical garden. When we say botanical garden, these are those areas where varieties of plants species are grown, and they are specially grown for scientific studies. So these are also some of the important components of ex-situ conservations. Now the next topic we shall study on the hotspot. What is hotspot? Hotspot is a biogeographical areas that have high species richness. That means they have high diversity of living organisms, but these organisms are facing threat or are being threatened by the human activities, and these animal and these living organisms required immediate attention for preservation. So those areas having high species richness but are being threatened by human activities, those areas are called as hotspots. Now the concept of this hotspot was first developed by a person named Norman Mayer in the year 1988. Now in India there are three hotspots. The first one is the Western Ghat to Sri Lanka, the second is the Indo-Burma, and the third is the Himalaya. So the Western Ghat to Sri Lanka, this hotspot extends from the western coast of western coast of India, starting from Maharashtra to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, until it reaches to the Sri Lanka. So this western coast of India till the Sri Lanka includes one part of hotspots. The second is the Indo-Burma. This hotspot starts from Bhutan till the northeastern part of India and then reaching to the Myanmar. So this is also one biodiversity hotspots of India, and the third is the Himalayan region. So these are some of the important hotspots region of India.